The Tale of Princess Kaguya is a recent Studio Ghibli film that was English dubbed, and this film has the same director of Grave of the Fireflies. The story is about a tiny princess who is found by a bamboo cutter, and he and his wife decide to raise her as their own. She goes from this tiny princess into a baby and then rapidly grows into a teenager and then a young adult. The bamboo cutter also finds gold the same way he found the princess, which was through cutting down bamboo. And they pretty much go from rags to riches very quickly, since he's convinced that he needs to give the princess lifestyle. I don't think he actually called her daughter throughout the whole thing. I think he only called her princess, because he's convinced the heavens want him to raise her as a princess. And when they do move up to the city, the mother actually stays true to herself, while the father wants this new life. And it's pretty clear he wants to do this for himself, but he also wants to do this because that's what they're supposed to do. And like I said, he's convinced that the heavens have told him to do this, even at the expense of his daughter's happiness, or the princess's happiness. And there's also a storyline with 5 princes at the last half of the movie, and there's one scene in particular with the princes that gets kinda uncomfortable. The story itself is pretty straightforward, though it does take a couple of weird turns near the end. And like with a lot of Japanese animated movies, the resolution doesn't really feel that clear-cut. But the message does get through, and that's that even though there is pain and suffering on Earth, there's also joy and happiness. And you might not necessarily need it with a bunch of fancy things. At least that's what I took from it. There are a lot of other messages this movie contains, because there's also themes about breaking tradition and being true to oneself. It may seem like a mixed bag of themes, but it actually does work altogether really well. Now, the first thing you might notice about this movie is the fact that it looks very different from other Ghibli films. Its style is more akin to something like Ernest and Celestine, where it has this very sketchy style and a lot of watercolor, except more Japanese. And the music, like with any Ghibli film, is really good. There's one particular scene where the princess is running away, and it looks amazing, and it also sounds really good with the score. All of the characters in the movie are pretty likable, though the father can be very dense. And I also love one of the side characters' expressions. I love her. Like I said, this movie has a lot of different themes in it, so it might depend on the person who you ask what this movie is about. Some themes are more prominent than others, but for me, it was that last thing, about finding joy and happiness even though there is pain and suffering. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the movie. If you've seen it, tell me what you think in the comments and what you thought it was about, and I will see you next time. Bye! I just wanted to say thank you to all my patrons this month. Your support really helps me out, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you want to become a patron, just click that annotation right there. Or if you want to see more movie reviews, click the playlist. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. See you in the next video!